The homie Hector.
Who's the homie Hector?
His guy.
I'm gonna start the car up and we're gonna go for a little test drive. Can you see this good? Check engine lights on. So we're looking at the speedometer right here. Problem is that sometimes it doesn't work. We're gonna go drive it, see if it works right now. If it does, we'll come back, scan for codes. If it doesn't, we're still gonna come back and scan for codes, and then we'll see where we go. So let me strap myself up right here, put it in drive. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was a harsh shift at a drive. That tells me right away that the speedometer is not going to work, because I've felt this before. When the speedometer doesn't work, the transmission shifts hard. So let me just take off. I'm going to go out of my driveway here, and then we're going to see if I'm correct or not. Alright, so I'm driving right now. No speedometer. Nada. Let me just take this back home, and we're gonna hook up a scanner, see what the check engine light is all about, and I'll show you guys what we have. I'm gonna scan for codes. First thing we're gonna go is into the engine, automatic with AC. We're gonna hit continue, and we're gonna see what this module has for us. So this is the PCM. We're talking to it, see what it says. Gotta get rid of this glare right here. Hey there, guys. Hey there. P1698, no transmission, BUS messages. So looks like we lost communication with the tranny control module. No transmission bus messages, no vehicle speed signal detected. Alright. Could be onto something here. So we got a P0500, we got a P1698. Let's see what the transmission has to say. It says we lost communication. No communication. Is key on? Yes. Ensure scanner's connected, and of course it is, because we just talked to the PCM. So look at this. I want to show you guys something real quick. I want you to pay attention. As soon as I click on the transmission control module, what comes up right there is this: testing PCI bus. Okay, and then it leaves. So the PCI bus is a communication that Dodge uses. It's a single wire communication network, and we'll go over it in a little bit. Anti-lock brakes. Actually, you know what? This car doesn't even have ABS. No communication because it has no ABS module. Airbag. Front airbag. Codes. Active codes. No codes. Stored codes. Well, nothing. It's probably not going to be anything. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm going from module to module to module to see if we have communication. So obviously there's communication with the PCM. There's no communication here because that's where our problem is. The ABS, there's no ABS in this car. This is a base model, 2002 Dodge Neon. We can communicate with the airbag. Let's see the cluster. This is what I want to see because the cluster is where our gauge is. So see if there's anything in there. No codes present. So there's nothing in there, but we can communicate. Oh, get out of there. Okay. Skim. This is for the immobilizer, for the key. Codes. And no codes. Okay, so here's what we have. We can communicate here, 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 and here, but there's no communication here with the ABS because that's not even in this car. But we can't communicate with the tranny control module. What I want to do right now is having this. Oh, why am I going there? PCI bus. We already did that. Having this P0500, no vehicle speed signal. Now, could this be because there's no communication, so the PCM never sees a speed signal? Could be. What we're gonna do right now is look at some wiring diagrams and see how this communication circuit works, and figure something out right now. So let me take you to those wiring diagrams. Alright, so this is the communication circuit called the PCI bus circuit. You can see that right there. You got the MIC, which is the instrument cluster, the SCIM, left and right airbags, controller for the ABS, which we don't have, so we can cross that out. Right here we got the ACM, which is the airbag control module. We got the remote keyless entry, PCM, TCM, the DOC, compass, which we don't have, and a radio, which we do have, but it's an aftermarket radio, so I'm not worried about that. Alright, what I'm worried about is I can communicate with all these modules, and they all communicate on this circuit right here. The only one that I can't communicate with is this transmission control module here, and that communication happens on this circuit right here, which we can access on pin 2 of the DOC. So I'm going to go on pin 2 of the DOC and see if that communication is there, which I'm pretty sure it is, because I can communicate with the PCM, I can communicate with the airbag, and I can communicate with the MIC and the SCIM. We saw that on the scanner earlier. We can communicate. The only problem is this TCM right here has no communication, and there's two codes, P1698, no communication, and also no speed sensor signal or no speed input signal or something along those lines. But I'm going to pin 2, we're going to get a signal there, and we're going to see what it looks like. Then once I get this signal here, I want to make sure that this signal travels and there's communication on what is pin 43 over here at the transmission control module. But first let me show you what it looks like on pin 2 of the DOC. So let's go. Alright, so I'm going straight to the DOC. I got my scope hooked up over here on ground. I'm going to be using this little piercing tool. This is thin enough that it's not going to damage the pins up in here in the DOC. I know that a breakout box is useful, but a breakout box will break my wallet right now. So I'm actually just going to stick this up there, pin number 2 of the DOC, and we're going to see what kind of signal we have on the communication line. Pin number 2 is this one right here. And we're going to go to the scope and see what kind of signal we got. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use the scope here. And we're going to see what the communication looks like. We're going to go on the 4-channel lap scope here. I got the key on for those of you that want to know, but I don't think you need the key on for this. Oh, right away. So that right there is a communication line for the PCI bus. So there is communication down here at the DOC. And what I want to see is this same communication up at the transmission control module over there on the right side of the car. And access pin 43, back probe it, and see if we have this signal over there. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and keep you focused on the scope. I'm gonna back probe pin 43, which is a violet yellow wire, and I'll show you where I'm at right now. I just want to keep you on the scope to show you the signal that we have. So there you can see the voltage here is 3.27, and that is a live signal. The max we hit was 3.53, as you saw from... Okay, so this is my settings. I'm on a 20 volt 50 millisecond scale. As you saw from the DOC up there, this is not a good signal for the PCI bus. This is not what it's supposed to look like. We're supposed to have a 0 to 7.5 volt signal and with some kind of activity there, and we don't have it here. So what I want to do right now is I want to unplug this module, and I want to see if we get a signal right here on the scope. But I want to show you where I'm at first. So I'm over here. I had to take off the fender liner. I had to take off the washer tank that goes bolted up in here. And I'm actually over here on pin 43, which is the third one from the bottom. This is pin 41 at the very bottom. Up at the top is pin 60, so they're actually numbered. And the third one from the bottom is a violet yellow, and that is pin 43. That is a PCI bus circuit, and we have no signal there, so I have to take this little bolt out. This is an 8mm, and when I unplug this, we're gonna actually go and look at our scope, and we're gonna see what we have there. So I'm gonna unplug it, and then we're gonna see what happens to this signal right here. I'm gonna keep you right there on that signal. Right now it's 2.3 volts. I'm gonna take that screw out. Hopefully I don't lose my back probe, and see what happens. This is one thing you gotta be aware of when you're back probing. You gotta make sure you're actually on the wire. This is why I wanted to pierce it, because I'm actually trying to go and lay right next to that wire, but I don't think I'm getting it. There it is. Alright, I'm back probed. There you go. Okay, perfect. So this is with the connector unplugged. We got our signal back, and that looks like a communication line that we were watching over there on the DLC. So the problem is here with this module. This module is not responding, and that's why we cannot communicate with it. So I have to check my powers and my grounds on this connector. I have the connector unplugged. I'm gonna get a test light, and we're gonna check our 2 grounds, our power, and if that's there, then I'm gonna call this a bad module, and we'll just have to make a follow-up video on the repair. So we're gonna close this down. Actually, let me see if I can plug it back in and see if we can make this signal disappear again. I gotta screw it in. I'm gonna try not to disturb the back probe. We're still communicating. Let's see. Alright. We're still communicating. That is a good thing. So, just like I said, this is an intermittent issue. So I'm pretty sure right now that if I go and I hook up my scanner and I go to the DLC, this problem will not be there right now. I'm actually going to have a speedometer reading because I have a communication going on, and I'm going to be able to communicate with the transmission control module. And if I'm able to do that, that means that my powers and my grounds are going to be good. So let me actually go and try to communicate with this module. And actually, here, I'll leave you guys here. Give me 1 segundo. Okay. Key is on. I'm actually gonna go to the scanner and try to communicate with this transmission control module. And if we're able to communicate with it, then there's no need for me to check my powers and grounds. And we're gonna call this TCM a bad module. And then we're going to try to get another one. We're just going to wait for this to communicate. And I'm going to go straight to the training control module to see if I can talk to it. Because earlier I couldn't talk to it. Right now, we're going to try to communicate. And okay. See what kind of codes we got there. P1684, battery was disconnected. No, it wasn't. I think you just lost your power. Battery was disconnected. Sure. Okay, but the thing is here is we have communication. This is an intermittent issue with the transmission control module. So I'm actually going to call this a bad TCM. While I wait and while I find a TCM to replace this one, I want you guys to leave me some feedback in the comments below. And let me know if there's anything that I missed, if there's anything else I need to check. This is cool. We have communication now. Like I said, this was it still is an intermittent issue. See what kind of codes we have. Oh, you know what? That battery disconnect might have came from me unplugging the module and the module not seeing any voltage to it. That's what I think happened. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. If I go drive it right now, I'm pretty sure I have speedometer, and I think I still have communication. So let's see what's there. Yep, still got my communication line going on right here. So that's it, guys. I'm going to call this a bad transmission control module. No need to check powers and grounds, because if my power or my ground was not there, then this will not be happening right now. But as you saw from earlier, we had 2 volts, and then it came back. The fucking shit came back. Why? Because it's intermittent. Alright, one more thing I want to do before I close the video out is I want to prove to you guys that I don't have to check my powers and grounds at the module, because I have my PCI bus signal here. I'm able to communicate with the transmission control module now, right? Having this being an intermittent issue, you can see right here, I'm able to communicate with the TCM, and there's no need for me to check powers and grounds. What I'm going to do right now to prove to you that is I'm gonna go over to the fuse box and I'm gonna pull the fuse that feeds pin 56 on the transmission control module, and I'm gonna see how it affects the PCI bus and how it affects the communication with my scanner. So let me go ahead and pull that fuse so I can show you guys. I got the fuse right here in my hand. This is fuse 20. It's a 20 amp fuse. Sorry, this is fuse 17, 20 amp that feeds pin 56 of the transmission control module, which is our power feed. Okay, our communication line is still there, but let's go see if we can talk to the transmission control module now. Alright, so there it is. Let's see what happens. Boom, there it is. No communication. Is key on? Yes. But why can't we communicate with the transmission control module? So this will be one scenario that you guys could have, right? So you have no communication with the TCM. You come with the scope. You check your communication line. What do you do next? You check your powers. You check your grounds. And this is just proof right here that without a power, having a communication line doesn't mean that that module's bad. You got to check powers and grounds. But right now, there's no need for me to do that because I just proved to you that without a power, there's no communication. I'm going to go ahead and put this back, and I'm going to show you that there is communication with the scanner now. So let me go ahead and put this back on here. Transmission, hit continue, and I'm going to go put this fuse back up there. Okay, fuse is back in. Let's try to communicate with this TCM now. The TCM is now powered up, and boom, we got communication. That's it. This is how you check your PCI bus for communication. We're still there. We haven't lost it. Right now, having this being an intermittent issue, this car's going to drive fine. I'm not going to have problems with the speedometer because this is here. When we lose this communication line is because something happens internally to the module, and it shorts out this communication line. I'm gonna go ahead and get a new module. When we do get that, I'll show you guys the repair, but I gotta get a hold of this company or get a hold of another module. So there it is, guys. 2002 Dodge Neon, no communication with the TCM. Intermittently, we lose our speedometer. We have a harsh shifting out of park. We won't shift out of first gear if we try driving it. We checked our communication line at the TCM. It's there sometimes. It's not there all the time. We lose it. We check our powers and our grounds, and those are there. So this car right here needs a TCM. I'm going to try to get a hold of one, and then we'll put it in, and then we'll follow up this video. So if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Hit the little notification bell. Give the video a thumbs up if you like this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.